Afterwards, the engineer says he woke up on the floor of the train's cab car, and he says he has no memory of the accident, according to the NTSB's preliminary report. The collision destroyed the electronics needed to control the train's braking and propulsion systems. Investigators are planning to do more follow-up tests after they repair other parts of the train. Hansi Luong, NPR News.
Verizon may pull out of the deal to buy Yahoo. A leader at the phone company is expressing doubts in the wake of a major hacking scandal. NPR's Arthi Shahani has more.
Verizon was planning to purchase Yahoo for $4.83 billion, but that was before Verizon knew that the flailing tech giant was the target of a massive cybersecurity breach involving at least 500 million email accounts, or half of Yahoo's clientele. Speaking to reporters in Washington, Verizon General Counsel Craig Silliman said the company has a reasonable basis to believe that the Yahoo breach represents a material impact that could allow Verizon to withdraw from the deal. It's on Yahoo to make the case that the breach is not a game changer. And he said, quote, "We're looking to Yahoo to demonstrate to us."
Up there. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2.
Price. Arthi Shahani, NPR News, San Francisco.
The number of people filing first-time jobless claims last week held at a 43-year low, showing the economy remains solid in terms of hiring. The Labor Department says applications for unemployment benefits were unchanged at 246,000. The four-week moving average fell by 3,500 to about 249,000, both at their lowest level since 1973. Stocks closed modestly lower today. The Dow was down 45 points at 18,098. The S&P 500 fell 6 points. You're listening to NPR.
Really robotic guest. Galaxy still on fire. More Tesla, Apple, Bookface, and your calls all coming up next.
Buy it, use it, break it, fix it, trash it, change it, mail, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it, quick rewrite it, plug it, play it, burn it, rip it, drag it, drop it, zip, unzip it, lock it, fill it, call it, find it, view it, code it, jam, unlock it, surf it, scroll it, pause it, click it, cross it, crack it, switch, update it, name it, read it, tune it, print it, scan it, send it, fax, rename it, touch it, bring it, pay it, watch it, turn it, leave it, start, format it, technologic.
Live from studios in Self Hall on the beautiful campus of Jacksonville State University, it's the Hey Techies Show. Now, here are your hosts in chairs that should have been thrown out years ago, Michael, Bruce, and the Guru.
Welcome into the Hey Techies Show. So glad to have everyone here. And Bruce is here, and he's giddy about something.
I am. It's a sad day.
You're giddy about a sad day.
I missed something by a month, and I feel horrible about it. Oh. And you should too. But
what?
But it's been 20 years and 1 month.
Okay. What's the punchline?
Punchline.
Yeah,
since a very important person died. And I think we should have a moment of silence for Tupac.
Well, I don't, okay. Tupac. Huh?
Tupac Shakur.
20 years.
20 years and 1 month.
Didn't he get shot or something? Isn't that how that works?
He did.
Who shot him again?
Just
remind me how it worked.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Picture him riding his 500 pins.
This is the Hey Techies Show, and I don't know why we're covering Tupac, other than Bruce likes him.
It's been 20 years. Pay your respects, man.
How did you even listen to Tupac?
How didn't I? I grew up in the 90s.
Yeah, you know me. I was never a fan. But, that's not a surprise, I know, to you. No big deal.
It kind of is.
Seriously?
He took the world by storm.
Yeah.
It was a sad day.
Well,
but don't worry, him and Biggie and Elvis.
Biggie? Is that
Biggie.
big? Is that little B-I-G with an E, cap E? Or how's that?
The Notorious.
Notorious.
B-I-G.
Oh, no, Notorious was another person, right? No?
Just go on.
Save us, Michael. Save us.
Notorious.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot to cover tonight, and
we
really are excited about having guests in the studio tonight. And eventually we will be, after the break, we'll be bringing them in. We'll be switching a mic around, and Bruce will be quieter, and you can hear less about Tupac. But anyway.
Pay your respects, people.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, if you want to be on the Hey Techie Show, it's 256-782-5600. And you can be a part of the show and maybe ask our Raider Robotics a question later when we go, and they might be interested to talk to you, and we certainly would like to have you on as a guest. How's it going, Guru?
It's going fantastic. How are you doing, Michael?
He was over there weeping for Tupac this week.
Oh, I can tell that he was.
I was just letting Bruce just have the floor.
Well, he should be giddy anyway.
What was that?
It wasn't Taylor he got to see.
But
he got to see something with another
something
T
with a big
that starts
T.
with a big capital T, and that's a Tesla car.
I did sit in it. I didn't get to drive it.
What model was that?
It was the Model S.
The Model S. Now, is that the really expensive? Which one's the $40,000 one? Is that isn't there one for like $40,000?
The Model 3 will come out, and it's going to
that's
like
right.
30 or 32.
Oh, that's right. This is coming out. That's right. I forgot. But what does the Model S run? Isn't it like
80?
$80,000, folks.
Man.
And I'll say this: I also got to sit in the BMW i8.
The BMW
yes.
i8.
And it's funny because I was actually talking about it to somebody a week or so ago, and I was looking at the specs, and I noticed it had a gas tank. It said 12 gallon gas tank.
Yes.
And I thought it was electric. So I asked them today. I was like, "Is this an electric car or a gas car?" They said it's a hybrid.
Okay.
It gets 15 miles on a charge, and then the rest is gas. I was like, why?
Yeah.
15 miles?
Why even have it? It's like $170,000 car.
Good grief.
15 miles on a charge.
And it's not even.
Well, now that's
but it's a hybrid.
And I will say this.
Well, that's not really what hybrid is.
Sitting behind the two. Well, that's what they said.
I know, but
sitting behind the wheel of both of them, I would much rather have the S.
The Tesla. Well, sure. I mean, if you're going to go all electric, go all electric.
Yeah. It was sweet.
Yeah.
Everything about it felt right.
Yeah, but you didn't get to ride in it, right?
I probably will get to later, though.
Okay.
Maybe not this year. Maybe next year.
Oh, there's a line. I'm
well,
guessing. You don't have to go into
explain.
details. That's
when
okay.
That's when Bruce
you don't
is
have to
going
go into any kind of details.
That's when Bruce is actually going to purchase his own Tesla.
Purchase his own Tesla.
They may not let me behind the wheel.
That's when he'll buy his own, and then he'll be able to drive it because it'll be his own.
Well, he can't drive it. It's autopilot. You're not supposed to be driving this thing.
Sit behind the wheel of it. Excuse me.
Now in California, later on, if I can find that story again, there's some possibility that they're going to have to redo the name autopilot.
Oh.
They're going to. They're coming up with legislation to say, hey, autopilot, you can't use that. It means something else, and people are using it for the wrong thing. Did you hear about that, Bruce?
Assisted driving is what driving assist.
Well, that's what they should have, and we talked about.
But I mean, it was catchy. Whatever.
Autopilot's catchy.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course, you got Apple, and we've got a guest in studio that he's having a real time with his Apple device, Guru. And Guru does not promote you updating to iOS 10.
No,
I don't know if it's just certain.
But here's the thing: like, very soon I'm gonna have to upgrade my device so I can get to WatchOS 3 for testing.
Yes,
the mobile app that I'm responsible for doing for my day job. So, you can't put WatchOS 3 on. Yeah, he's showing off the Tesla. But anyway, for those listening to me, you can't put WatchOS 3 on a watch without having iOS 10, and that's kind of like. But I just don't want to go to iOS 10. I really don't. But I almost pulled the trigger today, but the internet was running slow, so I decided not to. So, good thing I didn't.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
We are seriously going to have our guest on, and I apologize
for. So I'm gonna try to restate this as Michael restated to me earlier today. The internet went from as big as the pipe went as big as the sun to as small as a hair.
It did in like seconds. Well, we've been having issues at the university, and we thought they had figured them out today. Technically, they
downloaded all those Red Hat distros. I see you got your Red Hat
shirt on. Yeah. Well, the internet is really on a giant DVD. It's a laser disc, and we have to flip it. We have to flip it if you want the other side.
Oh.
But anyway, what I was getting at is that Bradley liked that one. Anyway, what I was getting at is this, and I hate to do this, but apparently, from what we're being told, after they got the internet fixed at our provider, okay, it was a provider problem. Then apparently, as we're being told, AT&T cut a line out in front of the very building that the provider's at. In our internet went out to like nothing I mean,
we got cut the fibers. You're done.
Yeah, but we got failover, but our failover's not quite as good as our
Well, it's just to get you by.
Our primary, right? I know it's a Band-Aid. It might not even be that good.
So they cut the fiber in front of the provider.
Yes, that's what we're being told now. I mean, if you're AT&T though, okay, Bruce. Is it?
Yeah,
I'm entertaining our guests.
You act like it's
talking.
You act like it's show and tell or something.
I was just showing them and telling about it.
Now you are. But anyway, AT&T will, they're drop of the hat. They'll fine you for nearly crossing their fiber. Forget cutting their fiber. They need to fine themselves.
So we actually had. I used to have a client that AT&T's fiber ran through the center of their business.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they told them if it was damaged, it was $1 million a minute. No, $1 million an hour.
Good.
$1 million an hour for every hour it was down. And that if it broke, because
I'd move my business.
Well, so they sold RVs.
Okay.
So where that was, they graveled over it. No parking, nothing. Could not. They would not put anything over
makes
that.
sense.
So better safe than sorry for them. But $1 million an hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because it goes between Birmingham and Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, anyway. Well,
but they'll cut somebody else.
Well, that was it. That's all you got.
Yep, I'm done.
Yeah. Now, of course,
we'll see you next week, Bruce.
Yeah. Of course, we got Samsung.
Yes.
Their problems.
Samsung is so hot they're on fire.
Well, we are going to talk about robots. Look, we had this is how we do the show.
People are excited.
We want to give them plenty of time.
I want to say it's about the Samsung Note 7. We talked about it last week that these replacement phones are starting to catch on fire.
Yes, correct.
And within a couple of days, like Samsung is done. Like we're getting out of the Note 7 business.
I got to tell you, I've seen so many funny pictures and so many videos about Samsung stuff. It's pretty comical and it's sad too.
It is,
but we'll try to get into that later on too. So, but we got the Raider Robotics coming up right after this short break, and we will carry on with the show.
That's right.
Be right back. Hey, Techies.
If you just found our show, don't touch that dial. There's more Hey Techie Show right after this much-earned break.
Red Threads Apparel carries a wide selection of t-shirt designs for every school function, work party, and much more. They also offer custom layouts for monogrammed attire. Red Threads Apparel is located at 16 Square Unit 8 in downtown Jacksonville on the square. Their business hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information on Red Threads powered by O-Brand, visit their Facebook page at O-Brand Marketing or call 256-770-9880. Cindy's Photography and Fine Arts is available for all your photography needs. She covers weddings, senior portraits, and much more. Cindy is a proud alumnus of Jacksonville State University and is licensed and insured for over 35 years. Cindy's Photography is located at 1765 Broadwell Mill Road in Jacksonville, Alabama. To book a session or for more information, call 256-435-4752.
Welcome back into the Hey Techie Show, where Bruce is not happy with me. Apparently, I don't have his songs.
Well, these aren't my songs either.
That was a song that I put in there, but I was wanting to know when you're going to put the new stuff.
Working on it.
We've kind of run out of disk space.
So, with no further ado, here we have the Pleasant Valley Robotics team on, and they are part of BEST, which will be coming up pretty soon. I think Mall Day is coming up the end of this month, and then their actual date to have the BEST competition will be the following Saturday. So it's coming up right around the corner. And with us tonight, we have, of course, Hannah, who she was on the team last year, and I think Bradley, were you on the team last year as well? Bradley is shaking his head. He was on the team last year. And, of course, their fearless leader, Mr. Adam Gooseby, and he is doing well. Adam, how are you doing tonight?
Pretty awesome. I'm happy to be here.
And I understand you're missing something else tonight by being here.
Yeah, it's open house at school, so
he's really upset.
I know he's disappointed.
Okay, Bruce. Well, anyway, so glad to have everybody here. And so I'll start with Hannah first, if she doesn't mind. Hannah, you were a part of the Bradley. You were part of the team too, Bradley. I forgot about that. Yeah, I apologize. We just talked about it. Can't believe I've already forgotten about it. But Hannah and Bruce is always laughing at me. Anyway, yeah, we got to be dorky sometimes, right? Well, I do. I know Bruce never
I'm dorky all the time. So
okay. Well, anyway, Hannah, you're doing well tonight?
Yeah.
You pull it up to you. I promise you,
it won't bite.
It will not bite. There you go.
There you go.
Okay, so this year, Hannah, what is the name of the robotics competition, and what is sort of the objective? And then okay.
Well, the name is Bet the Farm, and basically you're trying to counteract big ag, which is, just taking over small farms and businesses and making it really a commercial business. And by doing that, they're using robots to help out little hometown farms, and so they've employed our robotics team to do that.
Okay. Now, what is your role right now in the team?
I am the marketing director.
Okay.
I do the marketing booth, which doesn't really have much to do with the robot, but I build the booth and I do the presentation with Bradley and some other members, and I do more of the business side of things, I guess you could say.
Did you do that last year, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, this is the third year I've done it.
Okay, so you're a pro.
Pro, yes.
Pro at this now. All right.
Come do some marketing for the Hey Techies show.
Yeah. How much has...
I don't work for free, though.
No, that's right. That's a good point.
I guess I'm still working for free because Michael has yet to pay me.
Yeah, that is true.
That's okay.
Well, the Hey Techies credit card has a major negative balance, so it's kind of hard to get anything off of it. And blood doesn't work, so, it's hard to get blood from a turnip, right? Isn't that the saying? Anyway, Hannah, compared... I know we're not totally into the whole thing yet. I mean, y'all are getting the robot together. I understand we talked a little bit earlier. You've made some progress. We'll talk about that robot later. But what I wanted to get at is, how's the marketing going so far this year? Do you feel it's maybe in the right place this year as compared to last year? How are things going?
I think it's actually probably going better this year than it actually ever really has. We're in there now. We have an experienced group of people. We have a lot more people than we normally do. It's normally just me and like 2 other people, and I think we have about 7 this year doing it.
Okay, so you got some more help.
Wow.
And it's just
actually doing the marketing side, you got some more help. Okay, well that was good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah. Okay, great. Now, Bradley. Okay, we got to get this fear of the microphone over. Here we go. Bradley, this is how many years you been on the team?
I've been on it since we started in 2013.
Oh, and Bradley's a senior and Hannah's a senior this year. 2013. Yeah, I remember when the first time last year Adam came, we knew nothing. Well, Guru knew a little bit, but I knew nothing about robotics competition. I thought y'all were having wars between robots, so that would be fun. But and so he enlightened us about the whole thing. And, of course, this is BEST, and there's also VEX, and there's a few more, too. After getting to know last year we were the Guru and I were actually at the competition. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
It was tons of fun. It was chaos controlled. It was amazing, actually. So, Bradley, how is the robot going?
I would say it's going pretty well. I'm the head building and designing manager.
Okay.
So I have a bunch of smaller people under me.
Good.
I don't mean that in a bad way.
No.
They're just younger than me, and I have yes.
Yeah, Bruce said they're just smaller.
And they help me with various things, and I just kind of tell them what to do, and if I believe they can do it, I will let them. But I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I like things done a certain way, and so that's just how it goes.
So this year, are you going to have to implement some type of claw to pick things, or arm, or how is that? Or I know you probably don't want to give too much away here, but what kind of thought out your design, I guess, and have you got all that finished and trying to figure out how you're going to build it? Or
yes, we actually do believe it needs an arm and a claw at the end of it, just in order to be effective in the game itself.
Okay. Of course, we know, and I hate to bring this up, but I have to. We know your competition is Talladega. I mean, it is every year. You can't argue that. I know. And she's shaking her head. Oh, my God. Hannah's going, I don't even want to hear about Talladega.
They're not there this year, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're gone. I don't know where they went. But
breaking
is she
news,
being
folks.
serious?
Yeah, 100%. They're not there.
Really? I did not know that.
Shock
That's news
the nation,
to me.
But they're not
Shock
there.
the nation is not there.
Shock the nation's gone.
Seriously,
this
is news to me.
They went to shock another nation or something. I don't know.
I have been out of
We'll
the
have
loop.
to do some more checking on that.
That's interesting.
But you still have
Adam will give us some information.
But there's
later.
still a lot of other schools that you compete with in this area. Central Alabama's best. I mean, there was a lot of impressive robots last year, so I know there's a lot of talent out there you have to compete with.
Yeah.
So you try to get some intel, some inside information from the other schools, like, hey, I'll slip you some money. You're going to tell me what
This year, we got a notification back in the spring that when we registered for the team this time that the Birmingham hub that was hosted by UAB is no longer a thing.
Oh, really?
So they had to split the teams up that were in the UAB hub to the nearest geographic location. So we gained a lot of new teams this year that we're completely unfamiliar with. So we have really no idea who our true competition is.
So some of the schools maybe on the eastern side of the Birmingham Metro are now kind of part of Central Alabama's best, and you've never seen what they're capable of or how they've scored at competition. Oh wow!
It seemed like last year, and go ahead, Adam, you could correct me, and we're going to get back to the students here in just a minute. It seemed like some Montgomery teams may have come up last year, or somewhere down south, or maybe even Talladega.
No, you had like Winterboro was like.
Yeah, it was Winterboro. That's right.
I think in Winterboro, they're back this year.
Okay.
I can't remember if Sylacauga was.
I guess the point I'm just bringing up and making there was some.
I remember seeing.
There was some very stiff competition last year, and it's always very competitive. I mean, being there, it's really neat to go see.
It is.
One time in your life, you should go see.
I recommend all our listeners go at least once.
And it's at the Talladega racetrack.
Yeah,
be down there.
The Motorsports Hall of Fame.
Motorsports Hall of Fame.
They got like a meeting venue around to the side there. Yeah,
correct.
It's a great way. I mean, just if you're in the area, stop by for a little while. It's intense. I mean, it's like going to a football game.
Yeah,
and it's robots.
It's November,
and you got the kids
5th.
cheering. You got bands coming. You got the mascots for the schools there. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah. So, what about any major rules changes this year that you noticed, Adam, or anything that?
There's not. I don't really can recall anything that's really changed dramatically. I mean, of course, the scoring of the game is different because you have different game components.
Sure.
But the one rule that stood out to me as we were reading over it, and we always try to find the one that's different, and there was a rule that says that the drivers and the spotters are not allowed to throw things.
Okay.
Which, it's kind of one of those things that if it's in there, then someone's done it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Like, who did that?
I didn't notice anything last year that anybody discussed. Somebody.
The one last year that caught us off guard was that they encourage the spotters and drivers to dance, especially if the song playing is their jam.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I didn't see anybody dancing last year. I did that. No. I noticed they were really concentrating. It takes a lot of concentration to drive and do it the correct way. Now, last year was iron ore. So, Bradley, what's the deal now? Last year you went in a mine. This year you're going to be a farm. What do you have to do?
So there's corn set up in the middle of the little game field.
Okay.
And it's attached to dowel rods, but the corn is represented as paint rollers.
Sure.
Just on the dowel rods. And the robot has to be able to pluck those corn kernels, whatever they are, off of the dowel rod and put them into a certain position. And there's also pigs on the field, and you can move those into your starting box, which is considered a pig pen. And in order to score those, you have to close the door of the pig pen. And you can also feed the pigs some of the corn that you get for bonus points.
Okay.
And there's also some lettuce and tomatoes that go in certain bins too, on a different part of the game field.
So I'm making an assumption here. I'm making an assumption that you might need some kind of dump in the back to put something, or a place to store, maybe transport between there and Yeah, he's not going to go.
He's
there.
not going.
He's not going to go there with me.
He's not going there.
He's not going to give it up. I don't blame him either.
That's privileged information.
Yes, that is very privileged information, folks.
But I could see potentially somebody doing that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe if the moon's aligned right and all that good stuff.
Well, I tell you, one thing we learned last year, that Guru I learned last year, is that all the different designs. It's not like the fixed robotics. It's pretty your own design. Now, are there limitations? Don't you have to be so big, so tall? So is there weight, Bradley?
Yes, it's a 24 by 24 by 24. Cube.
Okay, all right. So. Well, and there's probably some people listening that don't know anything about it. So I know it was probably that last year, if I'm not. I'm sure that. So what about the competition field? Is it similar? Is it going to have different compartments that you have to traverse, sort of like last year, or is it just sort of an open area? Do you know?
The game field's actually open this year. You can venture into anybody's area if you would like, but there's certain restrictions. You can't get in someone's way in certain areas.
Okay.
But overall, it's just open.
Okay.
Last year was very cut up. You had levels like you were going in a mine. I remember that.
I know that for some people it was difficult because you had to a lot more driving and maneuvering to try to get, if you want to get into that deeper part of the mine where those components, that ore not costs more. You got more points for it. It was more valuable.
Now, good question here. They're not doing that this year. They're not going to change the value based on how much you get. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
There is an area where you score the corn.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes a community corn bin. So if your corn happens to fall in that bin, it's split up among the teams, but the values don't change.
Okay. Now, Hannah, who's the president this year?
Stephen Rowe. He was going to be here, but he had to pick his aunt up from the airport.
Well, that's okay.
That's all right.
We miss Stephen. Stephen.
We'll have to catch up with him at the Mall Day.
Yes. Yeah, we will be at Mall Day. Hey, Techies plans, Lord willing, we'll be at Mall Day.
That's right.
Bruce is in his own little world.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't blame him. He doesn't have we've stolen his mic, so that you got to quieten him some way or another.
That's the only way we can do it.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So, so marketing, you got that fairly squared away, you think?
Yeah.
Right. And another thing, here's something else that it's not just the robot. Like you said, there's marketing. There's a lot of cost here. Not just we got the robot, we're done. There's a lot of other things, right?
Well, we compete for the best award, and you don't have to do necessarily all the other things, but the best award really heightens your chance of advancing to South's best, and that's marketing and the marketing presentation and spirit and sportsmanship and the robot and just various little things.
Right.
Instead of just focusing on the robot itself.
Right. Now, you have to build and construct a booth, correct?
Yeah, and we did one a couple years ago that we've pretty much used every year because we just built it a basic shape, and we like it because we can change it, each year.
Right.
It was a chicken coop, and it was a cave, and now it's going to be, I'm not going to tell you, but
no,
don't give
it's
going to
be something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a cave. It was like a mine cave last year. It was really good last year. Yeah, okay.
Still didn't win, but it was good.
Y'all had to,
Hannah,
I loved y'all's booth last year.
Yeah, it was great.
It was great.
I'm still a little salty about it, but it's
no
okay.
no one could tell. No one could tell at all. It doesn't show whatsoever. But at least you got passion. That's good. That's good, right?
Yes.
So you can't tell me about your booth. You can't tell me much about your robot. I'm running out of questions. I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
I got a couple.
Go ahead, Guru.
So, we talk about the booth, and you have to actually build a robot, but it takes money. It takes real money to do this because, like most schools, there's not a whole lot of extra money just floating around. Say, hey, so tell me how you do. I just do fundraising to try to raise funds in order to have the booth and whatever you got to purchase.
Well, me and Gooseby came up with this system last year where we make every member on the team call at least 5 businesses. And, whether they donate or not, you have to call at least 5.
Okay.
And we ended up raising about almost $2,000 this year. So
wow, that's fantastic.
When we have 30 people, it helps a lot more. But
yeah.
So that's how we raise money. Just call them local businesses. They like it because they can write it off on their taxes. We like it because we're not broke. So it works for everybody.
That's fantastic. $2,000.
Wow, that is great. That is great.
What was my other question? So,
yes, by all means.
was it? So how many? This may be for Mr. Gooseby. How many total kids do you have this year in robotics, and how has it been trending since you started in 2013? The number.
We have 28 on the team this year. We started out the very first year with 9 or 10 maybe, and then after the first year, we just did it kind of as a club type thing.
Yeah.
And then the second year, we implemented the class at school to where it was one period a day.
That's right. You told us about that.
We got a lot more kids involved that way. We went up to like 18 or 19 kids. And then last year we dropped a little, got down to about 15 or 16, but then this year we're at 28.
Wow, full class.
Program is growing. Well, they started the robotics program at the elementary school.
Oh,
We recruited some of the 6th graders over that have now become 7th graders.
Sure.
So
it's a way to build it up.
So this is a class. It's a full year class, like a science class.
It is.
Is it like you can take this for one of your science classes?
Well, it's just a general elective.
Oh, okay.
And then first semester we focus on BEST, and then second semester we let the upperclassmen mentor the 7th and 8th graders and help them perform in VEX IQ competition.
Oh.
Because it's geared towards the middle school age.
Okay.
But then they can get the guidance from the upperclassmen who've had the experience as to this is how you engineer, this is how you design, this is how you do the notebook, and it lets those kids really get the experience.
Fantastic. So you got students between 7th grade and seniors all working together on this. That's fantastic because, like, I can remember I went to Oxford High School when I was in high school, and it was 7 through 12 like Pleasant Valley is, and, like, the 7th and 8th graders didn't have anything to do with the upperclassmen, and this is fantastic because I think you can, like you said, the mentoring piece.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your hope here? I know you want to win, obviously, of course. Mall Day. What's your hope to succeed at Mall Day? I mean, I know that you want to. What do you feel good about you come away with at Mall Day?
Really just scoring points is what we want to see. Last year we struggled a little bit, but this year we're being optimistic and looking forward to it. And I think we have a good robot, and that it's going to be able to score points. So,
yeah, okay, that's very important. Do you see a problem with traversing the terrain? Last year, I noticed it was really tough at times. We talked about it earlier, but do you see that this year, or is that not? Is there some other obstacle that's going to be more difficult than terrain?
I don't believe terrain's much of an issue this year because, like I said, the field's mostly open. There's no little gates that you have to go through the street and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it should be fairly easy to maneuver the robot itself, but the claw is where it gets a little tricky to be able to assemble that and make it function.
Now, is there a maximum of motors you can have on the device? I mean, is it just a limitation of the actual controller? How does that work?
Most of the time, it's the motor limit. They give you 2 small, just 360-degree turning motors and 2 large 360-degree motors, and then there's 4 servos, which just have 60-degree turning abilities. So you have to design it so for those capabilities, and it's sometimes difficult.
Right. Okay. All right. How involved is Steven? I mean, I imagine is he really just the president, or is he helping be able to build the robot? I mean, I don't know him that well, so I was just curious.
He's mostly involved with being CEO. He's kind of in everything,
right?
You know. He's helped Hannah with a few things, and I know he's helped me. I sent him home because he has tools at his house to be able to cut certain things.
Okay.
So I sent him home with
some tools,
some plywood one day, and he helps with that too. And he's just really part of everything.
Okay. Is there a limit to what types of products you can use to build it? Like, is there certain things you can't use? There's certain things you have to use?
Yes, they supply you with a returnable box and a consumable kit. And the returnable box, obviously, you can't keep.
Right, obviously.
So it consists of, like, the motors and the brain and all that kind of stuff. And then the consumable kit is mostly just nails, screws, wood, metal, just random pieces of equipment, you know, just general stuff to use to be able to craft your robot.
Okay, so do you have to build it out of the stuff they give you, or can you go down to Lowe's or the hardware store and purchase, like, I need some more wood or I need some more of something? Can you?
You can go purchase stuff, but it has to be to their specifications.
Okay.
And you can only use the amount that they give you. You can't go buy more plywood and add on to.
So, like if you bought if you take the wood they gave you, if you messed it up, you could replace that with another piece of the same spec and use it. Okay. So you can't just start buying a bunch of stuff and build this monster robot as long as it's within 24 by 24 and it, No,
they wouldn't let you do that.
This year they have a new rule that they have implemented. I didn't think about this when you asked the rules question, that you can now have a custom part this year.
Custom.
That it has to be made entirely of one substance, and they encourage the use of 3D printing.
I was going to ask about 3D printing.
And you can use up to 2 different things, but you have to use a 3D printer or something that makes it uniform.
Okay.
On the robot, and it has to be within a certain size dimension.
Wow.
But you can create 2 unique parts that's not in the kit of stuff.
And they encourage you to use a 3D printer for uniformity.
Yeah.
So do you have a 3D printer?
We do.
Oh, awesome.
Our county actually wrote a grant at the end of, was it the end of last year, I think, that they wrote a grant in all of the high schools, got a 3D printer and a life-size poster maker and some really cool new technology.
Seems like he told us that last year. It seems like I know we
may
can't,
have slipped
but
my mind,
it's just
but
it's putting a light bulb in mine, and I think that we talked about that maybe last year. Was going to get a grant for a 3D printer.
Well, that's awesome.
That is great. Yeah, and I'm assuming they've used it some.
Oh yes, I mean when we first did it, when we first got the printer in, the guy came that was the manufacturing company.
Sure.
He came and just did a demonstration for us, and we printed off all kinds of tiny little objects that, like a dodecahedron, they're sitting on my desk now that we just play with randomly. And of course, I won't want to give away what they're doing with the 3D printer this year,
absolutely not.
They're definitely using it.
Great,
in some
cool,
capacity.
Awesome.
I'll be interested to see that. I'm excited to see the different
3D
robots.
printed stuff.
That is one thing
awesome.
that's amazing to me, and I talked about it last year because I'd never been. But all the different robots, what all these students come up with, totally opposite of everything, It's
and everybody has the same stuff.
Right, correct.
And nothing turns out the same.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. So
that's right.
All right.
So
did we lose? I guess we lost Bruce, right?
Somebody.
But did we ever have him? I don't know. It's debatable.
He'll be back maybe. Maybe.
Well, Hannah, you're over there quiet.
Sorry.
No,
I don't really do the robot
let's talk about the marketing and all that. So that's your kind of in your wheelhouse. So you got some. I mean, don't give away any secrets, but what are your thoughts about marketing? Because the thing is, for the listeners who don't know, is the day prior to competition, you have to actually go pitch your robot to, like you're a company, your team is a company, and you go and pitch it to the judges, but it's like to potential clients saying, hey. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, that's something we weren't really prepared for until last year. Last year, we really buckled down and started preparing for that because it's worth a lot of points. And we actually won first place in it last year. So preparations paired off. We have a lady that comes in, and she came in a couple days ago, and she was a presidential speechwriter. And she gives us tips. And then we have another lady that was a bank manager, so lots of publicity and stuff she had to do as well.
Right.
And she came in the other day, and we got all kinds of tips, and we really focused on that this year and last year. And I don't know, it's hard. I mean, I've been doing it for 3 years. It's my 3rd year in that room, and every year it's completely different. Like the first year there were 4 judges, and last year there were 8. So, there's a lot more. And you have to look all the way across the room because they're not going to sit by each other. I don't know why they can't. But,
maybe intentional. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's hard.
Yeah.
So how big is your marketing team? You said how many? I think you said it earlier. I may have slipped my mind.
Including me, there's 7. So there's 4 8th graders, 2 9th graders, and then me.
So what for the competition? That's the actual marketing presentation.
Oh, that
plus you're in charge of the booth, correct?
Yeah.
And is the notebook.
The notebook is me, Stephen, Bradley, and we have a 7th grader on there just because he. Somebody's got to learn.
Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
Right.
Seniors are leaving. I mean, they're losing. They're losing a lot of brain power right here. I'm telling you. Well, I can understand that. Speaking of leaving, what is your destination of college? Maybe you got some ideas.
Well, I'm going to Mississippi State.
Oh,
I'm going
excellent.
to major in geoscience with a concentration in broadcast meteorology.
Wow!
I did an internship with
State.
ABC a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Awesome. Awesome.
Not internship, but job shadow. Same thing, really.
Job shadow, yeah. Over at in Birmingham.
Yeah, I did it with Megan Thomas, the female one.
Yes,
yeah, and I got to meet Charles and James Spade
right.
too, so it was fun.
I've met Megan one time.
Yeah, she's really sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, she seems like she is. Well, what about Bradley? What's Bradley's plan? Or does Bradley have a plan yet?
I do have a plan. I plan to go to Auburn University and focus my studies on electrical engineering.
There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, this definitely helps you forward that because I know you're learning a lot in that area. Yes. Oh, I know one thing we forgot. What about batteries? We're going to have batteries. Oh. How does that work? How much battery can you have, and do you need to charge them during the whole process and change batteries out?
Yes, they supply you with batteries. I think they're actually VEX batteries, but they, make them compatible and whatnot with everything that we use. And you get 2 on game day, or they give you 2 to begin with anyway. And you use one on the field at one time, and you charge the other one. And one year we had a designated battery charger that was one person's sole job.
Wow.
So
batteries
are really important, obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
Of course.
I think I remember in the game some people were running out. Some of the batteries didn't work one time. They had an issue with that.
When we went to kickoff this year, the site director, Danny Coleman, which
yes.
I'm sure y'all have.
Yes, we know Danny.
The first thing he told us in the coaches and CEOs meeting was make sure your batteries are charged. And I don't know which school it was, but he straight up picked on that one school and just kept hammering that fact out. Do not forget your batteries. So I've actually this week, I don't know if we haven't told Bradley that we did this or not, but we've got one kid. Again, his sole job.
Well, it's very important.
It's just like on NASCAR, the gas man.
That's right. He's the battery
He's the
charger.
battery person.
Hey, if it doesn't go, it's not going to win for sure.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
So how many batteries does it have on board? Is it like a single battery, Bradley or Hannah, whoever can answer it, or is it multiple? Hannah says she's not answering that one.
I don't know anything about no batteries.
The battery's blue. I know that.
It is blue. It's just a single battery.
Okay.
And it just connects to the brain. That's basically all it does.
So about average run time on this battery, this is not going to last all day, obviously.
No, I don't think we've ever actually had one run dead. During the 3 minutes that
you're correct, right? We didn't talk about that, but yeah.
We'll
talk about that in just a minute.
But I'm not exactly sure how long they last, but
okay,
as long as they go for 3 minutes, I'm happy. Yeah, and I think these two are happy. So
now,
so you're changing them out before each round when you're actually competing.
Yes,
yeah. and we really didn't. If you didn't listen last year, you didn't hear about it last year. Bradley is pointing out a good point that I forgot to mention. You have 3 minutes in each round, and it goes faster than you can believe while you're trying. So you have to pick as much and do whatever you can in 3 minutes.
Yes, and whatever your robot's capable of, you just score as many points as possible.
Okay, so let's talk about the relationship. We'll go to break here late, just a couple more minutes here, and then we'll have to switch to break. But the relationship between the spotter and the driver, this is very important, and getting that just right.
Yes, it changes every year. 1 year the spotter had to lift this big windmill fan thing up.
Yeah, I remember you they told about that. Yeah.
And then last year, I'm not sure what they did.
They could just really talk you through it, right? I mean, there was. I didn't think they could. I don't know. As I remember,
they could put the stuff in the boxes. They could sort it for you.
That's right.
Yeah.
They could sort it for you. Okay.
And this year they're allowed. There's this mechanism on the field where they can just insert golf balls into this thing and it drops onto the field.
Okay.
So where your little dump truck kind of method thing, that might be useful there. But that's really the only thing the spotter does.
So what are the golf balls going to be for?
I
meant to ask you what the pigs were for. What are they making the pigs out of? And we'll get to that in a second.
But the golf balls, they're in the middle of the field with the corn.
Okay.
And
they're the seeds. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. Adam straightens us out.
Somebody got to keep it straight.
Yeah, that's right.
You have to insert them into this certain hole, and it's just like planting a seed.
Oh, okay. So
that's worth points as well.
Yes.
So your spotter can put so many of those down, I guess, during the game? Is that what you're saying?
They're only allowed to put them into that little pipe silo thing.
Okay.
And it drops onto the field, and the robot itself has to go pick them
up. Right,
up
correct. Yeah, okay. Move them to the proper spot.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, we're going to cut to break real quick, and when we come back, we'll talk more with the robotics team from Pleasant Valley.
Don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
If you got a question for them, give us a call, 256-782-5600.
Be right back. Hey, Techies.
You can call, chat, tweet, email, or use that book face thingy. We're watching it all, even that book face thingy.
Stress of Jacksonville has been serving the Jacksonville community for over a decade. They are located at 500 Forney Avenue, right next to the cockpit. Strutt serves wings, beer, and more. Their business hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. To place a to-go order, please call 256-782-0106. For more information, go to struttswings.com.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladiga Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
This is 91.9 FM, WLJS Jacksonville, your cure for common radio.
Yeah. Welcome back into the Hey Techies Show. And back joining with us is the robotics team from Pleasant Valley, Raider Robotics. And of course, we have Adam Gooseby, their director, and Hannah and Bradley, who are both seniors and will be leaving their knowledge on to the next generation, they hope. And,
I know they will.
Yeah. So at Pleasant Valley, Bradley and Hannah, are there a lot of technology classes at Pleasant Valley?
Well, we have a teacher, Miss Prickett. She teaches all the business classes, and she has like multimedia, which they've actually got like a mini TV studio set up in there.
Wow.
And it's
nice.
Cool. Yeah. And then she teaches, starting with like 8th grade up, like computer essentials, that kind of stuff, career prep.
Right.
Okay, so now the TV, do they do something every morning? Do they show something?
No, I don't know what they're planning to do, but.
Oh, okay.
That's for the teacher steps in. But what they're actually planning on doing is they're going to do a broadcast.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Whether it's daily or weekly.
Yeah, okay.
But one of our unused classrooms, I walked in the other day to get some things out of the closet that were in there and noticed that they've got a green screen set up and 3 or 4 different cameras and microphones and lighting, and they're going to do an actual news broadcast, and they've got the desk set up with the computers, and I mean, it looks professional. It's awesome.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. We need to bring them on, Michael.
Yeah, so Hannah, tell me about, yeah, Guru, absolutely. Anything you want to do, man.
Sure.
You're the producer.
Give me a pay raise.
Hannah, right, exactly. Give myself one.
Yeah.
Hannah, tell us, and you're making me forget what I was going to ask the precious Hannah, by the way. I just want to let you know. Man.
Well, while you're thinking, I've got a question. So we've talked well, go ahead.
No, continue, my friend.
This is more,
please.
So we talked about you score the points to get the different components, plant the seed, get the corn, get the other things, and you get points for that, obviously. And it's kind of like I guess it's kind of like a elimination type style to get down to who wins that part, but you get points along the way. How does that? What I'm asking is, you have the competition, you have the marketing piece, and you have the booth, and you have the notebook, and just how is it the overall scoring to determine like who's the winner? How does that all work?
Let me take it.
Yeah, sure.
Where Hannah had mentioned earlier doing the best award, and that's the part of the competition that we enter.
Okay.
The way best is set up is you can do just the robot.
Okay.
And the best robot overall on the day, so the robot that scores the most points in total, will advance on to South's best just because they have the best robot.
Okay.
And then you have what's called the best award, where that encompasses the notebook and the marketing presentation and the exhibit and booth,
right,
the spirit and sportsmanship competition, and everything that you see going on game day.
Yeah.
That all encompasses the best award, and whoever finishes first in best award and finishes second in the best award get a position in South's best as well. So they take 3 teams from the hub.
Yes.
So first place best award, first place robot, and then second place best award, and that's how they determine.
Okay, so that's who goes on to the South's best, and that is
it's in Auburn.
Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
And the South's best, how big of an area is that? Just beyond Alabama, I'm assuming?
It's several states. It's the whole, essentially the whole southeast region.
Okay.
Comes in. I know Texas has their own region out there,
right.
So I think it's Frontier's best. That they get to compete in, and it's several states that are around Texas, and of course the whole state of Texas because it's massive. Mm-hmm. But Florida, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, Louisiana.
Wow.
All of the local states around us all come in.
Awesome.
To Auburn.
Now, what about nationals? If they were to get that far,
they used to have a nationals competition.
Oh, okay.
And they realized that the cost got so great that a lot of schools couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So they just cut it down.
Oh, that's right. The regional. I knew that. Yeah, you won your region.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that. That's right. Okay. Now I know what I was going to ask Hannah. What about the band and the mascot? You going to have all of that this year? You have any idea?
Yeah. Well, the mascot's actually an 8th grader.
Right.
We think it's funny because she's really short.
Yes.
And so we stick her in the Raider Ray costume, and she's really energetic, so she'll be there. She's already asked the first day of school, do I get to be Raider Ray again? Like, yeah, because nobody else wants to be the Raider Ray, so you can be there. And then we've got some members of both of the cheer teams coming in, both varsity and junior high. And then I think some of the bands come in. She usually just brings like an ensemble just because there's not enough room to bring the whole band. But a couple people, percussion, the big horns, that kind of stuff.
Now, if you've never been to this, I'm going to add a little bit to this. Last year, if you've never been to it, they've got a field set up. It usually has some type of last year had some type of carpeting laid down. I'm sure I'll have something similar this year. And there will be an edging around it where that's the edge of the playing surface. And if I remember correctly, you had to make sure that your spotter was in the right place and your driver, and that's it. You couldn't have anybody out there. That was a penalty if you did, or if they were out of their spot, right? That's still right, okay? So I'm trying to tell, on almost all sides are bleachers. They bring in bleachers. I mean, it's just like watching a match of something, even if it was like, say, handball or, tennis or anything. You got all these bleachers around 3 sides, I think it was, this past year. And it's pretty loud because of that. You've got cheering sections, and for 3 minutes, everything is – how do you hear, Bradley? I mean, how do you – like we just touched on a little bit, but what are the communications? Have you tried figuring out a communication between you and your spotter?
It takes a lot of, connection with your spotter to me because, like you said, it's very loud in that place.
Yes.
And you can't hear much of anything. So it's mostly just hand gestures and, watching their eyes and kind of just knowing what they're thinking.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Now, how many drivers do you have right now, or you even got that far yet? Oh, my goodness.
Quickly moves the mic to
not going to answer that question.
The rules call for 5. You have to have depending on the number of students that you bring.
Mm-hmm.
If you bring 7 or more students, you have to have 5 drivers.
Okay.
So they have to rotate through?
Yes,
they do. Okay.
And Best will actually give, on the morning of game day, that will give us bracelets that each driver has to wear. And usually in the coach's packet, there's around 7 or 8 bracelets. So you can have up to that many drivers, but you're required by rule to have minimum 5 because we'll bring 28 people.
Yeah.
And then you rotate the drivers out. You have to number them off, and 1 has to go before 2, and 2 has to go before 3.
So you have to have that like a plain order.
And you can't say, okay, I don't want my number 4 driver driving now, so let's sub in 1.
Oh.
It has to stay in that numerical order. So there's a lot of strategy on the coach's end as to who we place and where we place them.
Wow. I did not realize that.
The first year that we competed, and it was my fault for not reading the rule book, we didn't know when you got into the wild card round in the competition to pick the last of the final 8 that you had to continue your driver order.
Oh.
We just kind of assumed that the driver order would start over because it's a new round, and it didn't.
Oh.
So we had literally 15 seconds to get a driver on the field and suited up and ready to go, or we were fixing to get disqualified from that round.
Ooh.
So, I mean, they're very strict on the driving rules.
Okay. Now, sorry, Hannah, but this is going to have to go to Bradley too because he's part of building the robot and he's also part of driving. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm asking him all the questions, but safety. Now, if I recall last year, they had to wear. Do you have to wear safety glasses when you're driving? Is that pretty much all you have to have as far as safety, or?
Yes, they require that you wear safety glasses on the field, and they give you each team 2 bright yellow, bright orange vests, just so they know where you are. And
right, in case somebody's shooting in there, they don't hit you.
Yes,
right? Exactly. Yeah. They only hit the deer. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, okay.
So I do have a question for Hannah about the marketing piece, and we talked about the booth. You have to have your booth, and you had a fantastic booth last year, by the way.
Thank you.
But is part of the scoring for that piece is how well it looks, the presentation, the professionalism. But is there any more to that part? Do they come around and judge, and you have to almost like do a sales pitch right there at the booth, like if you're at a trade show or something? Is that how it works?
Yes, and that's why I don't really leave the booth because, I love these 8th graders, but I do not trust them. That's my child. And so when those questions are asked, I answer them. For the most part, I might let them answer like one. But I think that's probably the biggest part, actually, is the questions, because they're not just asking questions at the booth. If I went to the bathroom, they could easily stop me, because I have a Raider Robotics T-shirt on.
Sure.
Stop me and say, "Why is your robot built the way it is?"
Oh, really?
So I have to know. So I know about the robot.
So if any time that day one of those judges come up to you and start asking you questions, that's part of the scoring.
Yeah, and if I can't answer it, then we lose points. So
wow.
We have like the whole week before game day, we're in there with the marketing team, and I have Bradley or Steven or somebody from Building Design telling them why the robot.
That's what I was about to ask. Is you have that communication now between all the people who built it, designed it, and the management, the CEO.
Yeah,
you're trying to get information from them so you can have that information at hand, so you'll be able to sell it. Basically.
And that's really what our engineering team is. It's me, Bradley, and Steven, and Caleb, which is our lead programmer. We get together and we tell each other, because they have to know why it's being marketed the way it is, and I have to know why it's built and why it's programmed this way. And we get together, a couple times, during the season, just fill each other in, because we don't want to lose points for something, small like that, like a question being answered wrong.
The judges at any second could just go sit down beside one of the kids in the bleachers and say,
"Oh, wow.
So why did you build your booth the way you did?"
I don't know. You can't say that, obviously.
And if it's a kid that spent the entire semester building a robot,
they're not going to know anything about the booth.
Well, they have to.
They wouldn't know that, but they've got to.
Yeah, that's one of the things that every single. It's just like working for a company. You have to know what's going on within your company,
right?
So we have regular business meetings to where we let them know, and I'll make announcements. Okay, listen, this is why we're changing this on the robot. This is why we are modifying this, and our executives do the same thing. To where every time something changes, everyone is made knowledgeable of that change.
Okay.
Wow. I'm learning more and more about this. Like, wow.
Yeah, wow.
It's fantastic. This is fantastic. Real world experiences that these students are getting. It's just, man, if you're not doing robotics in high school, man, you're missing out. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate y'all being here tonight.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us again this year, and we wish you all the best of luck, and we will certainly see you on Mall Day, and hope to be enjoying seeing your robot, and maybe we'll hear about your victory coming up in early November. That'd be great. So best of luck to everyone who is going to be in the robotics competition. And it'll be stiff, I'm sure. So thanks, Bradley. Thanks, Hannah. Thanks, Adam. We really appreciate it so much. Y'all have a great evening, okay? Hey, Techies Show. We'll be right back.
You've listened this long, so stick around for our dose.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. Donald Trump is refuting charges from several women that he groped them or kissed them without their consent. At a campaign event in Florida today, Trump labeling as absolutely false the allegations contained in a New York Times report.
And so now we address the slander and libels that was just last night thrown at me by the Clinton machine and the New York Times and other media outlets. as part of a concerted, coordinated, and vicious attack.
The Republican presidential nominee saying he would make public at some point evidence to dispute the charges. One of the women, Jessica Leeds, recounted how Trump groped her and put his hand up her skirt on an airline flight years ago. Latest allegations come as the campaign is struggling to contain damage from a 2005 video that surfaced in which Trump is heard bragging about making unwanted sexual advances on women. In storm-ravaged North Carolina, the death toll from Hurricane Matthew continues to grow, claiming at least 22 lives. Floodwaters are starting to recede for some inland cities, but Will Michaels of member station WUNC says communities downstream are still bracing for more.
Governor Pat McCrory says the water level is finally dropping in the city of Goldsboro. But farther down the Neuse River, the city of Kinston has not yet seen the worst of the flooding. And when it does, North Carolina's governor says the water will carry toxins from hundreds of washed-out hog and poultry farms.
There's a lot of pollution, most likely in this, having it gone over the streets, so there's petroleum, and there could be farm chemicals also in this water. So this is not good water.
Duke Energy is also keeping an eye on a breached cooling pond at a power plant in Goldsboro. The utility says the coal ash pit is still intact. It's been nearly a week since the storm hit North Carolina. For NPR News, I'm Will Michaels in Chapel Hill.
The U.S. and Russia have agreed to resume talks this weekend aimed at ending Syria's civil war. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights says Russian-backed airstrikes killed 7 people in Aleppo, while rebel shelling killed 4 children near a school. NPR's Allison Muse has more from Beirut.
The Syrian Observatory says dozens of people have been killed over the past 48 hours in Aleppo. The vast majority died in Russian or government airstrikes, but others, including children, were killed by rebel shelling. Russia, meanwhile, says its embassy in the Syrian capital came under rebel mortar fire on Wednesday. Earlier this week, Russia vetoed a French-drafted UN resolution aimed at ending the Russian-backed air campaign in Aleppo. A rival Russian proposal was also shot down. The UN warns that its humanitarian partners on the besieged, rebel-held side of Aleppo will soon be forced to distribute the last of their rations. Allison Muse, NPR News, Beirut.
Online shopping company Amazon, the latest big firm to announce it's doing some holiday hiring. The company said it will add 120,000 seasonal workers this year. On Wall Street, stocks closed lower. The Dow dropped 45 points. This is NPR.
Technologic.
Trash it, change it, melt, upgrade it, charge it, point it, zoom it, press it, snap it, work it, quick erase it, write it, cut it, paste it, save it, load it, check it.
We won't need Mike 2. Oh, awesome. We won't need Mike 2. Guru.
We sent Mike home.
Welcome back to the Hey Techies Show. Although that was extremely unprofessional because I didn't know Guru had potted me up.
I was running back in here right before.
Thank you, Guru. I appreciate it.
So. Chit-chatting.
Yeah, chit-chatting back and forth. You're just finding out.
Well, I know those folks at Pleasant Valley. I volunteer out there, and I know that a lot of those kids out there and the teachers, and I was trying to catch up. It's like,
I feel like we know them, too.
So, yes. But thank you so much, Raider Robotics, for coming on the show. We
really
appreciate
great.
It. Really do.
Yes.
And good luck to y'all.
And one last time, thank you for Tupac. Love the music he
my goodness.
During his short time here on Earth.
Oh, gracious. You know what? If you keep saying that, the RIAA is going to sue us for mentioning his name. They're not getting any money over it.
Are they going to sue us, or are they going to sue our ISP?
Well, that is a good question, whether or not they'll sue the ISP. They might. They might name the ISP.
They might. Who would it be?
I don't know.
We don't know right now. Are we on primary or secondary?
Well, from the fact that the YouTube is not down, I'm going with primary. Yeah, I'm thinking primary. So anyway.
Yeah. So what Tesla?
I've got a little aside. I got an aside here. Hold your Tesla. I know you're excited about Tesla, but
I want to know what he's going to say.
One of the I believe this is one of the teachers from the Dagabots.
Okay.
They were watching our interview with Raider Robotics, and they said that let me get back up here. They're competing in Mobile with Jubilee Best. # Shock the Nation.
Okay. So I figured that was the case in some way, shape, or form. I just didn't know, where they were competing. And that makes sense.
They also said we're still helping a couple of teams from Central Alabama best. We plan on being at Mall Day with them, so we will see you guys there.
Excellent.
So we will definitely see some of the Dagobot's folks. They're not competing in Central Alabama's best, but we'll see a couple of them there. So we'll have to definitely catch up and talk to them. So,
well, that'll be
interesting.
That'll be good. Now I'll be interested to hear back from them after they get done in Mobile.
And here's your good little segue back into the Tesla. So I know that's what Bruce wants to talk about. He wants to spend the next hour talking about Tesla.
I'm just curious. We could have talked about it during the break.
It's also from Dagobots. Tell Bruce that there was a Tesla Model S at competition last year. It was owned by our sponsor. His wife has a Model X as well. I'm sure that he would be giving you guys a ride.
He's the guy from Alabama Power.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay.
Nice little segue.
Now, who was that? Who was that?
Joseph.
Oh, Joseph.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
that guy, that young man Noah, he was sharp.
Yes.
And he called in. I talked to him one night.
Yeah, that was the night I was out of town.
Both of you were gone.
Yeah, you was a solo show.
What?
Yeah, you were both gone. That was
wow.
I couldn't have done it solo. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, it was.
I
could come in here and talk to myself.
Sure.
I don't know if I would have been on the air, but
yeah,
I would have done the show.
Let's see. Anyway. Talk about Android is fantastic and Apple's awful, and I want my Tesla.
Hey, let me tell you something. Speaking of that,
send Bruce money for something.
We haven't done that in a while.
Speaking of that, let's talk. We'll get to Tesla here in just a second.
Send Bruce
but I want to
make Taylor Swift.
Okay, so everybody knows. Oh my goodness, I hate these things.
Yeah, MacBooks stink.
No, automatic playing videos. It drives me insane.
I think it's the operator.
It is that too, but we won't go there.
Anyway.
But what I was getting at.
What you getting at?
Is this. If you haven't been paying attention, Samsung is burning down.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, just this week, Guru, they said, hey, we're going to have to recall everything. Notes.
Yeah, well.
Everything 7.
Yeah, this show, to catch people up that may have not listened to last week's show, and if you didn't, it was a good show, by the way. Go back and catch the podcast. But anyway.
Yeah, I finally got it uploaded.
So a couple weeks ago, they had the problem with the Note 7s, and Samsung said, we've got it fixed. There's a battery issue. You can get you another one. Well, last week we reported that somebody was on a Southwest flight about to leave. Like they hadn't pushed back from the gate. They were about to leave, and the phone started heating up in the guy's pocket.
Huh.
And it burned through took it out and burned through the carpet on the plane. They had to evacuate the plane and all that. And this was a replacement Note 7, not just any Note 7. This is one of the fixed Note 7s.
Yes.
That was the first incident of it that we heard about. Well, since last week, catching you up, apparently there's been more and more reports that's coming to the surface, and that's going back to what we were just talking about, is the Note 7, they've pulled everyone on by, like, send them back, and if you can't take it back to the store you got it at, like, call us, and we will send you a box to put it in.
Fireproof.
Yes, not just any box. There was a video, I think I've got, I'll try to find it and put it in the show notes, but it was like, it's like multiple boxes, like a box to put the phone in, and then you put that box in another box, and then that box in another box, and then like the outer box got some sort of like fire resistant material on the inside to, I guess if it was to catch on fire to help from burning down
the fire stop.
What now?
Fire stop. They have
it's got some sort of material on that outer box, and it's got on the outside of that box, it's got printed "Do not ship by air." It has to be ground transport only. So you can't, they don't want that even in an airplane being like.
How do they get it back to Korea?
I guess I'll put it on a boat, but you're probably shipping it somewhere in the States. I don't know, but anyway, so
it's a long boat ride.
I cannot recall a time where a device has had this broad of a recall. Like they're all coming back. Like bring them back. We're not making them anymore. I think Samsung is offering to exchange it for a different device.
And they'll give you $100 credit if you go for a Samsung device.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, they're going over, above and beyond, making sure to take care of these customers. I will give them credit there. They're taking care of the customer. But one thing that I saw, this is an Engadget article, that it's going to cost the company
$3 billion.
Well, this article says $2.34 billion with a B, but you said $3 billion.
$3 billion. That's just my estimate.
Right.
Well, this article from Engadget.
Just a couple Tesla
saying
cars.
That Samsung is going to potentially lose out $2.34 billion for this current 3-month period it's in. So that's a lot of money that the company is going to lose.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what about market share?
That's a good question. What about market share?
So
that's what I want to get at.
You know, we talked about, was it last week we talked about the Pixel?
Yes.
So I was talking to somebody else about this, and they brought up a really good point that I don't know I didn't think about.
Really?
I'm surprised it wasn't the first thing I thought about.
I'm surprised too.
So now you have the creator of the OS manufacturing a phone, and now they can hold back stuff from all these vendors.
But that was always a concern.
Yeah. And I mean, I just, you know, it's one of those, I don't know if it's their motto anymore, but don't do evil or don't be evil.
I know what you're talking about.
And if they do that, that's evil. And I would, if they did that, I would strongly reevaluate my allegiance to Google.
There was an allegiance to Google. There was this week, if what I understand, if I'm reading this correctly, there was a survey done.
Yeah,
it's a recent survey. It was supposedly conducted after the reports of the phones were flaming, as it says, for the Galaxy Note 7. And this is
the first time or the second time?
Yes.
That's important. It's like with the presidential. Is it after the debate or before the debate? When was the poll done? Anyway, go ahead.
I don't see.
Did it not say
that really? I mean, that's a great question, Guru. I agree with you. Well, at any rate,
go ahead with what you got.
Yeah, that's right. That's what you need to do. Yes, correct. Donkey from Shrek. That's what he did.
Well, I didn't. I don't know.
Oh, that's funny stuff. Anyway, this is the main thing. This is what you need to take away. Out of all the respondents, this is what I think you need to take away. 40% of the current Samsung phone owners that were surveyed said they would not buy another Samsung phone.
Oh,
in the future.
Wow.
40.
So these are
current. Here to me is the kicker.
So are these current Note 7 or previous Note 7 owners, or just Samsung?
It says 40% of current Samsung owners.
Oh.
But here's what I wanted to get to.
And that's your flagship device for Android.
So
for the most part, I mean, it depends on who you ask, right?
HTC is a big one.
They probably sell more Android devices than any other.
I probably agree with that.
Okay. I'm sorry, Michael.
We can find that later, though, probably.
I would probably agree with that.
Yeah.
But every Samsung owner that I've ever gotten to switch to HTC was like, well, why didn't I do this?
Yeah.
Oh.
But since I don't have HTC anymore, I can't
8%
really
said they were going to plan to purchase one of the Pixel phones.
Oh,
one way or the other. But 70% said whatever they did, they were going to stick with Android. But here's the kicker. 30% claims they're leaving Android to go buy an iPhone.
Yes.
30%.
Welcome to the club.
So 40% says 40% of the 70% says we're not going to buy a Samsung phone.
Yeah.
And 30% of the 100% says we're not going to buy an Android phone. So the question on the table
Wait. Did they say we're not going to buy an Android phone, or we're going to go buy an Apple phone?
We plan to leave Android and buy an iPhone.
And
that's the way it's worded.
That was
now,
30. That was 30%.
30% of the 100.
Percent.
Right. Percent. I don't have the information here for how many.
How many survey people?
Wait.
100 people.
Wait. 1,020.
So 1,000 people.
1,020.
Well, it's scientific. It's
survey.
over 30.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I remember from statistics. But anyway. But here's my take on it. So I know you didn't ask me, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. So it's huge that 40% are not going to buy a Samsung. That could be potentially devastating for Samsung. We've been saying since the get go with this that Samsung will be all right. They'll get past this.
I think they will.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They won't be what they once were.
Well, I thought at first after the initial recall, like they're going to get past this. It's going to be a bump in the road. It's going to be all right. But now it's basically happened. It happened again, and you got this survey, which is only 1,000 people, but I think this is pretty
40%'s a big number.
Yeah. But 40% of these 1,000, which if you extrapolate that, I mean, you could potentially 40% of their market shares of their customer base is leaving them. But then one thing that is very surprising is the 30% going to Apple.
It's what it
says.
Now
I'm pleased as an Apple owner because I love that.
What does it matter to you?
But it don't matter to me. But
it's not gonna make your phone cheaper.
No, it's not. But
I'm not gonna make your updates better.
I'm surprised at that because I was like, you think of like it's like the presidential stuff. Like I'm not voting for that candidate. It's like you're switching parties almost.
I'm not either.
So anyway,
well, the Hey Techies show is going to have to take a short break. Apparently, I don't know what's going on.
We promise we won't talk about politics too much tonight.
Yeah, right. And we will get to Tesla.
I'm curious.
And Apple again.
I may not really have anything you really care about.
Stay with us.
Be right back.
Tech questions? We have answers. Give us a call, 256-782-5600.
Gamecock Outfitters, located on the square at 109 Ladica Street in Jacksonville, provides customers with outdoor apparel and gear. Gamecock Outfitters is able to help you find exactly what you need for every outdoor adventure. Gamecock Outfitters is open Tuesday through Friday from 10 o'clock to 5:30 and Saturday from 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock. For additional information, contact them at 256-435-2008 or check out their website at GadsdenOutfitters.com.
Cindy's Photography and Fine Arts is available for all your photography needs. She covers weddings, senior portraits, and much more. Cindy is a proud alumnus of Jacksonville State University and is licensed and insured for over 35 years. Cindy's Photography is located at 1765 Broadwell Mill Road in Jacksonville, Alabama. To book a session or for more information, call 256-435-4752.
Welcome back into the Hey Techies Show. Hey, I got that pretty good there.
You did. I like Reliant K.
Well,
I need to see if they have a new album. I haven't checked on them in a while.
They do.
Did you know?
Did you know that Tupac does not have a new album?
17 years ago today. No, it wasn't 17 years ago today.
20.
Reliant K came out with their first album, but it's... When did they come out with their first album?
The plethora of knowledge from Bruce.
Yes. I know
you only 99. Get it here on Hey Techies. I know that's why our listeners tune in. So
sure.
Exactly, which I'll probably get this week in Techies.
So according to an article,
you hope you do,
that I have here in front of me,
I'm sorry.
It looks
like
98. 98. 18 years ago. This is my 18th anniversary coming up, the 24th of this month. Married to the lovely Fran Sanders.
Congratulations.
Yes, 18 wonderful years. I know she'd say it too, I'm sure. Yeah, I'll ask her tonight. Anyway, by the way, Tesla, supposedly, according to an article, is dated today, as a matter of fact, Bruce, they extend its lead in the U.S. luxury sedan market.
Tesla?
Not just...
Well, I mean, that's all they
not
have
just
is
electric.
Luxury.
Yeah, but there are other. It's not like it's in a. It's not like you're in the electric car.
Oh yeah,
business. Is what I'm getting at. I mean,
just period.
Yeah, period. That's what caught me about the headline.
Is that they lead?
It says that they have. That it basically is talking about they've extended their lead.
Extended that, so they were already in lead.
Well, that's what it made it sound like. I mean, I didn't know this. If this is right, it's a Bloomberg report.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Said that it extended its lead over competitors as American sales surged by as much as 59% in the third quarter compared to the same period last time.
Wow.
It goes on to say that the number of Model S vehicles sold in last year's third quarter grew from around 5,800 to approximately 9,200.
That's pretty impressive.
Well, it is,
That's a small number, but the rate of growth.
I would be interested to note, and I didn't look this up, it'd be interesting to note, like, say, Lamborghini. I mean, just throwing it out there. How many they make a year?
Lamborghinis?
Yeah, I mean, we have to look it up. But, I mean, but I'm just saying, I know it's a sports car, but it's an elite car. That's what I'm getting at.
It's beyond luxury. I think.
Well, that's probably beyond luxury.
But I'll say this: so they produced 9,200 cars. You said in what third quarter, right?
It says from 5,800 to approximately 9,200.
But here's the thing: like they can't make them fast enough.
Yeah,
that's the thing you got to look at there. They cannot produce them quick
enough. They don't
enough.
have a problem selling them.
Yeah, it's not like they're sitting on dealers' lots. Like you go down here to the Honda dealership, and there's a lot full of vehicles. Yeah. They're selling them as fast as they're making them.
Now, I'm not sure if this is breaking this. It says U.S. luxury sedan market. Okay, so we'll go with that. It's not saying just electric.
So that's equivalent of your like Mercedes,
S-Class, BMW,
your BMW 7 Series.
Would Land Rover be, or Jaguar? Would you do Jaguar? I don't know what that would be considered.
I would say yeah,
I would.
Jaguar for sure.
But like Porsche and Lamborghini, that's another class.
I understand
like
that.
Porsche's got the.
Oh, do they?
I'm having to turn this way.
I'm sorry.
They've got a sedan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I always just classified them with like the ultra luxury.
I don't know. See, this article is written fine, but we just don't have. I don't have enough information to go on. But anyway, whatever you would consider luxury sedan market, according to this article, Bloomberg. The numbers they've run, they are now in the lead, or have been in the lead, and they're increasing their lead.
How about that?
It also rising popularity over the Model S over similar cars from rivals like BMW, and it mentions Mercedes here as well.
Yeah, but the thing here is look at the increase from 5,800 to 9,200. That's almost double.
Now this is interesting. If this is true, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm just reading this as we're going along here, okay? The Model S's closest competitor, it claims, is the Mercedes S-Class in the same time frame, and the BMW 7 Series, which pulled in sales of around 4,900 and 3,600, respectively. So 4,900 for the Mercedes and 3,600 for the...
So that's all they sold in Mercedes S-Class?
I think in that time frame that we're talking about.
Okay. But Tesla sold 9,200.
Well, I think if I'm reading this correctly, vehicles sold in last year's third quarter, let's read it again, grew from around 5,800 to 9,200. Okay,
so that's what they sold this quarter, 9,200 compared
last year's
compared
third
to 5,800. That's almost double, roughly. I mean, not quite. I mean, I figured a percent, but anyway. Yeah. But then you're saying the BMW and the Mercedes sold 3,600 and 4,900 in the same time period.
It's what that's
so Tesla.
If what I'm reading about this,
the Model S. Yeah. So the Model S, it over double sold those two models. And the thing is, like I said, that if Tesla could have made 22,000, they would have sold every one of them.
It claims a Mercedes S class has suffered a 9% decline over the same year, last year.
Because Tesla's taking their business, probably. I wonder what the price difference.
Hey, this is interesting.
I would say they're similar. They're very similar.
Yeah.
Well, people that are in the market for that type of vehicle and can afford that type of vehicle, they're choosing Tesla.
Which I would say most of the people that are in that market
that's
fit the bill that would be a perfect owner for that because of their driving distances.
Yeah.
You know, somebody that drives an S-Class isn't putting a ton of miles on it. You know, they drive from their, I'm not going to say from their penthouse apartment because at that point you just have a driver. But
they're driving from their fancy house at the golf course, the suburb to the city. Like maybe
very short drive.
15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not something, not long distance, like I've got to drive from here to Atlanta every day.
Yeah, exactly.
They're living just north of Atlanta, like up there in Buckhead or something.
Pretty much.
Okay. I didn't realize that how well they were selling compared to similar vehicles.
According to that report,
and the rate. I mean,
we'll have in the notes later. It's Bloomberg,
but you don't see Tesla sitting around. So I'm saying if Tesla could have made 29,000 cars last quarter, they'd have sold every one of them. That's my prediction.
Oh yeah,
Tesla is not going anywhere, folks.
Nope.
Well, they're going to Mars eventually.
Well, I mean, but
that's gonna be awesome.
It ain't no passive fad where the car companies can't just we'll just ride this out and wait for them to kind of go bye. That ain't happening. So these other car companies in the same market segment have got to figure it out.
I
mean, that's basic economics and basic capitalism. Right
I don't know if I mentioned this on the air. or did I mention this on the air while the students were at Radio Robotics? And just quickly, because it's on my mind. I know we talked about it earlier, but Mobile is getting a grant. I don't know if I
no, you didn't.
Okay, Mobile schools are getting a grant, and I'm kind of late in putting this in here, but they're getting it from Chevron and their robotics teams. And you mentioned that the robotics team from Talladega is going to be competing down in Mobile area.
Jubilee Best is what that group is called down
so
there.
I'm assuming Mobile schools will compete.
I would assume, yes.
Jubilee Best. So that'll be interesting how I think they got a grant in the area. The county schools of Mobile got $300,000 grant from Chevron
robotics?
For technology, science. I think STEM in general.
STEM in general.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, I love these schools to get this money, especially the county systems, because it's if you're in a city that has their own school system, a lot of times the city, if it's a prosperous city, the city is able to give additional funding to the schools. Right. But in the county, you don't have that luxury as much because usually there's not a whole lot of extra money floating around with the county.
Now, we had a follow-up but I think from the previous week, if not a couple of weeks ago, we talked about a developer who has an app that got pulled from the App Store, and I think it was Dash. It seems like Dash. Apparently, there's a follow-up story that says 1,000 fraudulent reviews were actually detected across 2 accounts. If I'm not mistaken,
I found this article. I didn't read it like I always do. Y'all think I'm kidding, but I found that sounds interesting. I'll stick it in our doc. And then
if you don't remember, there was an app, and we talked about it last week, and this will be brief, but it was removed from the App Store because they were saying that they had noticed some fraudulent activity as far as reviews. Well, of course, a lot of people got up in arms. Oh, how could you prove blah, blah, blah? And apparently, Apple has come back with some information that they find them guilty of at least 1,000 fraudulent reviews, says Apple.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's what Apple's saying. Apple, that's one thing they try to pride themselves in the integrity of their reviews, and that helps the consumer when you're trying to, because if you're going looking for a device, well, I would say Bruce, but you don't have an Apple device, but Michael's got an iPad. I mean, even on the Android store, when you're looking for an app and you just do some search, you're going to read the reviews, right? Especially if you got to pay money. But even if you're not, it's like, well, if it's got 1 star and it's got a bunch of reviews, I don't.
So an update to the update, the developer behind Dash, he shared his side of the story, and we'll have this link, and if you want to go further and read it, I suggest you do. But he is placing the blame, listen to this, on a relative whose Apple Developer Program membership he paid for.
Now say that again.
He's placing the blame on a relative whose Apple Developer Program membership he paid for. So I'm saying he was not aware of his account and was linked to another until Friday. I'm just reading the way the article's written. And he was not notified about any wrongdoing.
Oh, so the developer accounts were tied together.
Apparently so.
Oh.
See, because up here, apparently, Guru, from what I'm gathering, that they have pulled 25 apps from the same developer.
The second developer, not the Dash developer.
I'm not. Let's see. It's not. I guess it's under all one, from what I'm guessing. So,
well, like they say, this story will continue probably because I figure
anyway
because the Dash app,
it's iOS.
Hush. The Dash app, it's from consensus, it's a pretty good app. I've never personally used it, but it's a good resource for programmers. I need to go on DevRant and see if anybody's talking about it.
What kind of programmer has an iPhone anyway?
Yeah, really.
Cool.
No, seriously.
Very cool programmers. Thank you very much. There's some pretty slick apps on Apple.
Oh, there's
Mac
so
OS.
much to cover in so little time. Really,
I know.
We don't have. And I tell you right now, I don't know where to start. And really, I didn't have a lot of stories. I've got some. I don't mean that, but I couldn't pick. I've got so many to pick from.
Well, one thing that I unfortunately did not find was rumors this week. I know some folks are very disappointed, and I did look. I promise you, I looked. I'm just not trying to have an excuse, a cop out, but I did not find any.
I've got a little rumor here.
Sure,
it's not much of one.
Well, let me play the little
sure.
Play a little bumper here, so might as well.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Okay. That's enough of that. So, back to Tesla, as ironic as it would happen, and I'm going to butcher this name right here. It's either Atavia, it's A-T-I-E-V-A.
Activia?
No, it's not Activia.
Wait,
A-T-I-E-V-A.
Activia.
Maybe it's Activia.
Activia.
Apparently, they are trying to make or have made, and it's a rumor. There's, I think, Recode has an article here, and they have also a picture that has been leaked, I guess. They have their first electric car, and people are saying, hey, it looks a lot like the Model S.
It does.
That's pretty close.
So this is rumored, but they're saying it's expected to launch in December. Now,
it's an electric car? Did you say
it's
that?
electric. Now, the thing about this company is they actually were a Silicon Valley startup, and they were making batteries for Chinese buses. Apparently,
as long as they're not making Samsung batteries.
Sound familiar? Did Tesla? They started making batteries before they started making cars, did they not?
I believe you're right.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how this progresses.
Well,
but here again,
it's just like what I said with these your legacy car companies, the lack of a better term. I mean, they got to figure this out because Tesla ain't going away, and apparently this company's trying to figure it out too.
Well, now here's the other thing. You've got to figure and wonder at what point does Apple start suing them for copying their car they haven't put out yet?
It's coming.
I don't think they will.
Well, this company, I mean, they got this car. It looks apparently is similar to the Model S. I mean, at some point, Apple's got to sue them. I mean, they're suing everybody else for everything.
One thing that Apple did not sue Samsung over was the batteries.
Oh no! See, my contention is what we don't know. The thing we don't know, and my contention. This is a rumor. This is a real rumor here. My contention
Michael's making up a rumor.
Is that because Apple is always saying that Samsung has stolen their designs, they actually leaked a design that Samsung used because Apple knew that it was faulty batteries, and so they did it, sat back and see, that's my rumor. It's just as good as anything else. It could happen. No, Bruce is not buying it.
I'm all for conspiracies.
Yeah, Bruce is.
And we always like to start rumors on this show.
Yeah, I guess
but I think probably what it is that Samsung mixed up their files. They were the ones that made the bad design and meant for Apple to snoop. Hoisted by their own petard.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, I don't know, man. One thing you do have to ask: this is the 7th phone. If you look at iterations in 7, right? I mean, it's
sure.
Why does this happen now? I mean, 7 phones? It's like, well, we started building houses and whatever.
Honestly,
you would think by 7 years you were really good at building houses.
Honestly, I think it's because the demand. The demand for batteries has gone up and quality has gone
way down. Yeah.
And it's not like you're just taking the same device and keep building it. Every time you redesign it,
I get that.
There's change in the manufacturing process, and then what Bruce alluded to about the demand for lithium batteries or batteries in general has gone through the roof.
But now Apple has had their shares of this type thing in a way. I think they had some exploding things there, a few, but I don't think that they really said, "Oh, it's a design flaw." I think that it seems like they had some kind of issue.
They've had some issues in the past. I mean, with all
the
products
getting hot, or
they've had issues with different products in the past, and they've had to make up, but nothing to the scale.
No, nothing to this scale. Right.
And one thing that I thought of, he talked about batteries, amigo Bruce did, is I thought about this when I first was in the car and heard on the radio about the expansion of the recall of the Note 7. It made me think, man, it's just almost inevitable that we're going to get to a different technology of batteries beyond lithium.
Yes.
That are going to give you more power, smaller footprint,
companies are sitting on it.
Well, that are safer, because the thing
they really are. Texaco owns a patent for one of them.
Yeah,
but it's coming, folks. It's coming, and that's going to be safer to transport in air. I think when Miami Rick was on the show a long time ago, he flies freight for a large freight company, and that's one of the things he said is, you got to be careful when they're transporting anything with a lithium battery. It's got to be packed correctly, and that's, it's a big risk, and I know I wouldn't want to be on the plane if something wasn't packed correctly, especially when it could just have this thermal runaway and burn up. I mean, it's scary. But anyway,
start packing parachutes.
But something, I think this whole Note 7 thing may accelerate that development or not development, it's already being developed, but the
push
to market of some next generation battery technology.
Well, I ran across an article that today, as a matter of fact, that just really was interesting to me, and I hope I got about 7 minutes here before we have to cut to our final break, but it was posted originally on TechDirt and some other websites reposted it, but it's by a poster named Mike Masnick. That's not right. Masnick, maybe. It's Masnick. What did I say?
Nothing.
What did I do wrong? Masnick. Anyway, however you want to pronounce it. We'll call him Mike. But he writes this interesting article about how the RIAA, is suing different companies, and they've been doing this for a long time. I know Bruce, in his former job, had to deal with them in some sense of the word because they would send down takedown messages and requests, rather, I guess would be the better word. He had to deal with that, and so we're a little familiar about what they're doing and why they're doing it. We have some kind of understanding of it, and there is no question that some copyright infringement can happen for music, for movies. Sure. I mean, it certainly happens.
Yeah.
No question about it. But the question is now, in this particular instance, has the RIAA overstepped? Have they gone too far on what they're doing now?
Probably.
Because apparently...
So what are they doing now?
Well, apparently what they've decided to do, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, and some people probably haven't, but have YouTube, you can go to these different sites and you can actually pull the audio out, extract the audio out of videos, and you can put it on your whatever and listen to it and, on your own, whatever you want to do. One of these in particular ones is called YouTube-mp3.org. And there has been a recent lawsuit filed against them by the RIAA. And so what's going on now is the way the lawsuit is being handled. And this is a lot of legalese, and I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but the basics of it are this. He's smiling at me.
Keep going. I'll say what I can say.
The basics of it are this. They are figuring out a way, they think, to not just sue the client, but to bundle in with that. They want to bring in third parties. They want to basically make third parties be responsible for carrying the water, so to speak, for this entity, which is...
So... Already they're trying to do content filtering.
Yes.
They're trying to filter the internet.
They're actually trying to make the actual providers do their dirty work in figuring out.
That's what they do.
Right. Who it is, how to stop them. Even so far as to wanting to sue to tell them that, hey, block their domain.
So this would be my argument in court, and I would bring it with me. I would say my website is a tool.
Okay.
Just like this hammer.
Yeah. Okay. You can't bust
I can either
knees.
build a house or I can bludge.
yeah, I knew you were going to go there. I brought a sledgehammer for bludgeoning knees. I don't think you can do that.
It's like what the user does with it is purely on them, not on me. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, but it is an interesting.
That would be like saying code can be malicious. You shouldn't be able to write it.
Yes, it's a long article, and I really can't get.
All right,
I would love
stupid.
Well, but the guy does a great job of it. I think of explaining
They're
it. I mean,
I'm tired of them.
But the question is, will they get away with this? I don't know. You know, they sort of writing this, and man, I hate to bring this up because I honestly don't know a lot about this law, and I admit that I didn't get to dig that well into this. But I think it's called SOPA, S-O-P-A. It was never passed. It was something in 2012. I think that was going to. My understanding was going to make this easier on them to block these type of sites. Or whether because they think this way. They think I can see part of their understanding. I don't know that they got
I'll tell you what.
I don't know if they got a ground to stand it, but this is what I know. But this is the way I see it. YouTube, for the most part, pays licenses based out on views.
Yep.
And in these views, we've talked about this before. Real quick, monetizing. They do ads. If you one of two ways, you either watch the ad or you do YouTube Red and you pay a subscription fee, just like if you were Apple Music or whatever other, Amazon Prime, whatever. You're paying a subscription fee to do it without commercials. So they're saying, hey, these people are downloading this through a URL, which is publicly available, yes, but there's also one in the background that it changes constantly. That's the one they're finding and pulling down because that's where the video is basically hosted. It's a revolving link that's always changing. Okay, so basically they're saying, well, but they're not watching ads now. They're downloading this music, what have you, and they're just playing it over and over again away from where they're paying.
Yeah.
I can see their argument and understand it, but the problem is, how do you differentiate between what you're posting in public, a public posting, this YouTube video? I mean, like you mentioned before the show, you could just record it while it's playing.
I could record it while it's playing.
You don't even need. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be digital technically, or it could be, but at the same time, there are ways to do this without actually going this route. So they're going to get around it one way or the other. Now, I understand the RIA is a fight. Now, this guy is based in Germany, is my understanding. He's based overseas, is this website. So I think a lot of what they're sending him, he's just ignoring because they're not going to. So I think they're getting some UK people involved to try to sue him from there.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's long drawn out. It's a very interesting article. If you're interested in music or if you're interested in this type thing, it's worth the read. But anyway, when we come back, we are going to do that thing we do every Thursday.
I'm taking over.
And turn it over to the guru. And then Bruce can guess.
Be afraid, Bruce. Be very afraid.
This Week in Tech History coming up next.
Stress of Jacksonville has been serving the Jacksonville community for over a decade. They are located at 500 Forney Avenue, right next to the cockpit. Strutt serves wings, beer, and more. Their business hours are Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. To place a to-go order, please call 256-782-0106. For more information, go to struttswings.com. Red Threads Apparel carries a wide selection of t-shirt designs for every school function, work party, and much more. They also offer custom layouts for monogrammed attire. Red Threads Apparel is located at 16 Square Unit 8 in downtown Jacksonville on the square. Their business hours are Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information on Red Threads powered by O-Brand, visit their Facebook page at O-Brand Marketing or call 256-770-9880.
This is 91.9 FM, WLJS Jacksonville, your cure for common radio.
Welcome back in to the Hey Techie Show, and it is almost closing time.
And I know who I want to take me home.
Do you?
Yeah, me.
Okay. Yeah, his Tesla car. Right. That's a good song.
It is a great song.
Well, while we...
I didn't hear some of the other songs, but I'm sure all of them were fantastic this evening.
Well, Michael picked them out, so you know they're fantastic.
I did Reliant K. You heard that one.
That's a good
and we
one.
just had one other one that you didn't hear. I forget which one it was. I think it was something you'd like. I don't recall.
He heard the little 8-bit song.
Yeah, I did the 8-bits. You heard that one. So you only missed one. I missed one break. Well, at this time, me and Bruce, we take extreme radio professional broadcasting risk and turn the entire show over to the guru for this next segment this week in tech history.
So, Bruce, are you ready for your dates? You got it correct last week.
No, did I?
I can't remember.
I did.
Well, you did or not, you did. Right.
That's hilarious.
So, for those who don't listen every week, what I do is I give Bruce just the date. And it happened within the last week. And it's something tech-related, or I stretch it to be tech-related, which that does happen at times. And Bruce got
within this week of this week in history. So
yes.
It could happen any year.
Any year, but this week.
But this week. It could have happened this week.
Yeah, it has.
Who knows with his crazy
It
rules.
isn't 20 years ago, is it?
No, it's not
20 years
one
month.
I can promise you it's not Tupac.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So there's one thing eliminated. So your date, Bruce, is October the 12th, 2003. And I don't have any sound effects. So just, Michael, if you'll hum some sort of the think music or whatever.
October 12th.
2003.
2003.
Yep. What you thinking?
Well, I'm trying to think video games, but you probably didn't pick video games.
I could pick anything.
You could, but you don't. I swear this is airplane related.
2003.
Because I want to... No, that wasn't in October.
This week,
that happened.
October this week, 2003.
Because that didn't happen in October, but that was around that year.
How you keep that straight, I'll never know.
I think about where I was at.
I can hardly remember what happened last week, let alone
exactly right.
2003.
I'm trying to think of something major. There were some insignificant things. Dude, I don't know where you've went with this. See, some of this is not just a guessing game of what happened, but what you would pick that happened.
So you're like, your mind is like
because it's not
playing
really
tricks on you.
It's not
kind
really
of
the
thing.
exact date that I think of. It's more the time period. And then what did he pick out of that time period? So I have no clue.
You have no. I've stumped Bruce, folks. Mark this day. I stumped Bruce. He got even.
So you don't even have a guess.
No guess.
No, because
2003. Okay, well, we're going to have to get
all right.
Yeah,
so what happened on October 12th, 2003 is Adam Curry posted an Apple script called RSS to iPod that took MP3s downloaded by RSS to a folder and automatically transferred them to a connected iPod. So basically, and just what happened is Adam Curry created the podcast on October 12th of 2003. Podcasts were created. The birth of podcasting.
That's the reason why I didn't know.
October 12th, 2003. You should. We have a podcast, this radio show.
The father of podcast.
Yep.
Adam what now?
Adam Curry. RSS to
go.
iPod. He wrote it. It was an Apple script on a Mac, Bruce.
Ooh.
See? Podcasting came to the Mac first. It was Apple script. There you go.
That figures.
Sure.
So there you go, folks.
What else?
The birth of the podcast.
I never
this week.
I thought it was older
2003.
I thought it was older than 2003.
No, I was thinking it was that far ago. 2003. I was thinking it's been sooner than that. So 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's about podcasting.
13 years. There you go.
I guess blogging is older than that. Podcasting.
Oh yeah, blogging's like so 20,000s, 2000s.
20,000s.
2000s.
You know what I thought it was going to be?
What?
But I wasn't. I didn't think you'd go with this. Was Patch Tuesday?
What about the start of Patch Tuesday?
Yeah, since you said 2003, that was the start of Patch Tuesday.
Was it? I did not know that.
And ironically, it's over.
Yeah, and now it's over. Isn't it? Wasn't it in 2003?
Sure.
Let me look that up.
This week in tech history is morphing into whatever we want it to be, it looks like. Well, I guess we need... I wonder if we got a hack of the week this week. Probably not.
Yep. October 2003.
There you go. October 2003. Well, we could add that.
Very interesting.
A further This Week in Tech History, if you want to know.
I want to say in... what year did Mortal Kombat come out? I want to say this was the week Mortal Kombat was released.
Oh, wow.
That's one of the Pleasant Valley Band's stand tunes they play this year with Mortal Kombat.
Really?
Yes, it is.
I want to say that was
group of folks.
93?
That sounds about right, Mortal Kombat.
Anyways, no hack of the week because I'm a bum.
Oh, our listeners are going to be disappointed, Bruce.
Sorry.
Well, I've got something that we can cover quickly, if I can pull it
quickly.
It up here. I almost don't want to cover it. Not for the reason, it's just too involved. But apparently, I don't know if you saw this, Bruce.
Probably.
Mm-hmm. This is the headline. Facebook, Twitter cut access to monitoring tool used by police. Geophedia. Have you ever heard of that? It's a marketing. According to this, as marketing itself as a surveillance tool for law enforcement, but yet it had a tie-in to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And what they're claiming in a report that the ACLU put out is that the police were using this tool to figure out where protesters were going to be based on their tweets and their Facebook posts and their videos. And because this particular product, I
want to say
Geophedia, had gotten permission legally through Facebook to use this data and Twitter. So they just, that's what Twitter and Facebook do. They work in the data.
I want to say I do know about this product because there are other products that are similar to this. This one is significantly cheaper. But I can assure you that law enforcement and support personnel do use this.
Okay, so we can't get in a long discussion because we don't have a long discussion time, and probably should have done this earlier. And there's you could go a lot of ways. I know the ACLU hates this, and I can understand the reasoning why. Yes, it could be used for nefarious purposes and things that would be against the, presumption of innocence and all these things. There's no question it could be done. But listen to this. This is one thing that I find interesting. In some cases, police officers were even able to run social media photos through facial recognition technology to discover rioters with outstanding warrants, and they arrested them directly.
Yep.
Now, they had outstanding warrants.
Yeah, I will say this. I have been to, I don't really know if it was a conference. I would say it's a workshop. I've been to a workshop that was very heavily law enforcement involved. And it is, I won't say scary. You would just think they would not be so far behind in this. I understand they have a lot of other work to do. Even just the paperwork they have to do.
Oh, yes.
Takes up a ton of their time. So they really don't have time to just sit there and scour the internet.
Right.
And a lot of departments aren't big enough to even hire somebody to be a tenth of their time.
Right.
But they could totally well, first of all, people are stupid.
Yeah, I know.
Because they post all this stuff.
I know. Yeah.
And, I mean, they could just look at people's Facebook posting and tweets and automatically just be like, I know where this guy's at. I know what he's doing.
Right.
I can go get him. So, it's pretty sad, but don't forget our number here is 256-782-5600.
And you've got 3 minutes to be on the Hey Techies show.
So. If it's this late, we may have to get you in next week.
Yeah.
I don't know. They may be calling to correct me on something.
Maybe.
But they,
If you have complaints, Bruce at HeyTechiesShow.com.
Oh, wow.
Compliments, Guru at HeyTechiesShow.com. Michael at HeyTechiesShow.com.
All discussions will be.
Oh, maybe they're calling to tell us our phone isn't working. I don't know.
I don't know.
Who knows? No big deal, but they're calling the wrong line. Well, quick overclock stat.
Ready to
go. And I think I've already, let's see. Oh, I had it right here. I did not know this. You know Ricoh, right? The copier, all that makeup.
Yeah.
Did you know they have a 360 camera that they brought? It's called THETA. I want to say it's Theta or Theta maybe. I'm thinking it's Theta.
Did not know that.
Theta SC. They have a 360. It sits on a tripod, and apparently I'm guessing it rotates. It looks like it's a 12 megapixel, maybe $350. Let's see. Uses the same 12 megapixel. The sibling was $350, so I'm not sure.
Does it take panoramics?
Yeah, it I think it swivels to get a 360 degree video or pictures still. Let's see.
Because it
has 8 gig storage. While built-in storage will, I know, up to 1,600 still photos.
Okay, so that's what it's.
But it will shoot up to 25 minutes of continuous footage. So it brings So apparently, its intent is to bring 360 to the masses, I guess, for a decent price. I don't know. I thought the only reason I'm bringing this up, I didn't realize Ricoh was in this kind of business.
I didn't either.
Yeah, can't say I really did either.
But they do imaging solutions, so maybe this is along that line.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, Pokemon Go. I know it's Bruce's favorite app.
I have not opened that.
It could add 2.83 million years to users' lives. So there's recently a study from Microsoft Research that said that the most interested Pokemon Go players took 26% more steps than before using the app. And doing some extrapolation, they're estimating based on that user base, 144 billion steps was added to physical activity. That's 143 round trips to the moon, which you aggregate all that up, 2.83 million additional years of life expectancy to the 25 million users of Pokemon Go in the United States. So there you go.
How could they prove that?
Well, that's Microsoft said so. It's got to be true. It's on the internet. It's got to be true.
Oh my goodness! There's the Pokemon.
I had to open it up.
Oh good.
I actually thought about it the other day. I was like, I'm gonna delete that.
Yeah.
No action in
By the way, Amazon is said they're going to add 120,000 seasonal workers this year to handle holiday shopping, by the way, in case you're needing a job.
That's it.
Well, look, we've had a really fabulous time. We've got about a minute here. I want to encourage you. Our show is replayed on Sundays at 1 p.m. in case you missed a previous show, and you can listen to our show. Also, HeyTechiesShow.com.
Absolutely.
It's a great resource. We'll have all of our links up there that we covered. And if you notice that we've missed one, email us and let us know about it.
We try to throw this together, and sometimes we miss it.
We'll fix it.
But you can download podcasts there. We do podcasts on this show. And the video from the Google Hangouts.
Yes.
So please check us out. HeyTechiesShow.com.
And if you missed the Raiders Robotics, you'll be able to see them again. So,
yes.
If you missed anything, interview part of that, want to hear it again. So, well, from all of us to all of you, we really appreciate it. And the Hey Techie Show, we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend.
The Hey Techie Show is produced by The Guru and co-produced by Mike Stedham. Program director is Jefferson Varner. Join us again next time for another exciting installment of The Hey Techie Show. It's going to be great, maybe.